Hi guys, this is Judy from Patterns for Pirates, and I am making my little baby girl a maxi length sweet bow, which is an option we just added when we updated it to have layers and the other new features. And since a maxi for a little toddler is kind of extravagant, I thought I'd go all the way and take some really pretty pictures. I'm going to do this chiffon that has like a metallic little sprinkle through it, and since it's see-through, I'm going to line it this poly. And since it's a maxi, and since it is rather fancy for a fancy photo shoot, I thought I would do something fun with the hem and use horsehair. And one more thing that I did on the chiffon was I used a French seam. If you've never done that, it's on our blog with working with silky fabrics. It's really nice for something like chiffon where you could see through to the seam. So now my seam is pretty. You don't see like a serged edge. One more thing that is nice to use is this, and what it does is when you put it into the hem, it kind of stiffens the hem, so it kind of gives it like a floaty look. I only got the 1/2 inch for her because she's really little, she's just a toddler, but they also come in an inch, so if you were doing like an adult evening dress, you would probably want to get the bigger one. I knew how wide my skirt pieces was, and I just got a few inches extra. There's a couple of ways that you can attach the two ends as you go around the circle. If you want it to be pretty, one way is to use like a ribbon, and you're just going to lay it on underneath, and I can do that. Let me grab a little piece of ribbon that matches.
Say my name now.
And my little guy is in the background. He wants some acknowledgement. I actually grabbed a little fold over elastic because that's what I have that matches. And I'm just going to trim a little piece. And I'm just going to align it like that on the edge. And then when I flip it over, it will be covered. Not necessary, it's not going to fray or anything like that, but if you're doing something fancy, you might want it to look nice. You're going to attach it to the right side, so I am just going to align it at the edge. Let me trim that just a touch. I already did. I said you're here. You're going to align both edge, and you're going to stitch with a very narrow 1/8 seam. So I'm going to move you over to my sewing machine so you can watch as I stitch. I always like to shorten my stitch length when I'm working with a fine fabric like chiffon. Please don't do that.
Hey, Mom, let them look at me.
And that's my little pirate saying hello.
Hey, wait for me.
So again, I'm stitching with a very small 1/8 inch seam allowance. I just wanted a 1-to-1 ratio. You don't need to be easing any of them in.
Say hi to them like this.
You can say hi at the end, okay, baby? They're looking at the sewing machine. If you're wondering where to get this, I got this at my local Joann's. It is close to the elastic. my shop. And Joanne sells it by the yard. So I just got exactly what I needed for this certain project. I don't make a lot of fancy dresses, so it's not something that I keep all the time in my sewing room.
Cool.
The Sweet Bow has a very full skirt. If you notice how long I'm sewing this hem on a toddler size. I love the tight gather and super full skirt. Gives it a bit of a retro feel that I love.
Wine sword.
Baba. Okay, so I'm coming around to the front. Now I didn't do the little piece of ribbon because it's just for my toddler. And although we'll take some beautiful pictures with it, I'm not too worried about the inside being finished super glamorously. But if this was like a prom dress or something like that that I did care about, that would be a great way to finish it off. So I just overlapped it about 1/2 inch.
Why this so?
Okay, so again, that's on the right side of my fabric. I overlapped it about 1/2 inch. And you could zigzag on that if you were really worried about them coming apart. Again, mine is only going to be worn for some pictures. Since I'm making it for a toddler, you flip it up and then you flip it all the way to the back. And then you'll just stitch it. Now, your stitch line really just depends on where you want. Most nicer evening gowns, you would stitch just along that inner, that inner line right there. So a very narrow hem. But if you wanted a thicker hem, I mean, it's your dress. You can do it wherever you want along that horsehair and it would be fine. Traditionally, it's right stitched in the ditch right there. So a very narrow hem. And I can finish just a touch for you. I don't think everybody wants to wait for that whole dress again. I'm gonna lengthen my stitch. I like to hem with a little bit longer. On most fine fabrics, I like to stitch everything with a 2 length, and I'm gonna go back to a more normal 2.5 here. So again, it's flipped up and then to the back, and that raw edge will be hidden, and you can just follow that fold line. And that want horsehair sticking up from the, so here's my stitch line, and that horsehair sticking up is what's going to give it that effect of floating a little bit away from the body. You can see even just, I just did that little piece, how it floats away. It stiffens that hem so it sticks out. So when she's walking or even just standing, it will kind of float away from her body and hold its shape. It's a nice little elegant touch. I'll just do back stitch so you can see one more time. From the front, it just looks like a normal hem. Even on the chiffon, I was kind of worried that you'd be able to see it, and you can very, very slightly if you're really, really looking hard, but I don't think anyone will be able to tell when it's on her, and especially once the lining is under there. See? No one will be able to see it. And then from the underside is what it looks like. So it's really a very easy thing to put in if you're sewing something super fancy or glamorous and you want that little extra touch of glamour, I guess. It's a really easy thing to add. So if you do it, don't forget to share with us. We love to see it in the Patterns for Pirates Facebook group. Thanks, guys.